My name is Gareth Farr. I'm from Wellington, New Zealand, and in 1991 I went to Rochester, New York to study at the Eastman School of Music. Nikki, my friend, said, oh, you know, apply to Eastman, I'm going there, it's a fantastic school. They've got a really good composition program. And I said, well, it's funny, I hadn't thought of the States, but it's actually sounding really attractive, and it's so close to New York City, how much fun would that be? And I said, right, going to Eastman, and I don't really know that much about it. And I turned up very sort of naive and unprepared, and just had the most incredible 3 years of my life, I'd say. I had never experienced a school that is, you know, devoted to one topic that is just so enormous. Complete immersion was my experience for that whole time, which was wonderful, because it really makes you focus, and meeting people not just from the States but from all around the world who've come there and sharing their experience. Apart from the specific, you know, gems of wisdom I was getting from these incredible teachers, there are just so many more people doing the same thing. On the one hand, that's a bit scary, in that it means there's a hell of a lot more competition than I'm used to. It's intimidating, but it's also amazing, because you're just continually surrounded by different opinions, different ways of writing music, different just amongst your colleagues as students. And you get into wonderful arguments with people about how you're supposed to write music, and again, everything on a bigger scale. It really challenges you. It makes you step the game up a bit. It's interesting for me to think about how my experience in the States changed me in specific terms about as a composer, musical style, things like that, but also just in general how I changed. It was a time where I was really figuring out what my purpose as a composer was, and I am very honest about the fact that I consider entertainment to be a very important part of what I do. And I really focused on, I'm an entertainer. I love it. I love knowing that I've written a piece that people are going to be, the communication is immediate. I mean, primarily, I'm a classical composer, so I write concert music, I write for orchestra, I write for classical instruments. But it's so exciting to be able to do a bit of TV music, a bit of film music, working with choreographers, working with Indonesian musicians, working with Māori musicians. One of the things I find really important about the Fulbright Experience is that it is a true exchange, and that it's not just me going to the States and having that experience and then that's the end of it. It's that wonderful thing of being able to bring things back, and I bring stuff to the States when from my culture and from my perspective. I love it when I can get my music overseas, because it's part of developing a career. But it is also wonderful to know that my influences are being shared with people who don't necessarily have the same background and the same experience. I guess my advice would be, when you're considering where you want to go and what you want to do, obviously the university is important, the particular department, the school, all of that is important, but equally important, think about where in the States you're going, because so much of the experience comes from outside the school, comes from the people you meet that have got nothing to do with the school, people who live there. Is it a part of the States that you think you would really get something out of, really enjoy, have something in common with, or not, for exactly the same reason? It's got nothing in common with it, so it's a really challenging, unfamiliar experience. But take all of that into account. I just found that I could wander around in Rochester and just almost feel like I was in an art gallery, just looking at everything so unfamiliar. I find that exciting. I think it can potentially be unsettling for some people and frightening even, maybe, if things are so unfamiliar, but that's the point of travelling for me. And apart from the amazing education that I was getting at Eastman, that's an education in itself, just getting used to the fact that the rest of the world is this, ever unfolding series of experiences.